Yeah, I've been testing the new rifle produced by Beretta, which is their entry into the kind of sporting rifle world. My brief really was to get it out in the field from a stalking perspective, and in the field test. So I wanted to test it on roebucks in Ayrshire and also on red stags. And the red stag test we've just done, which is on this package, and for that I went down into Argyll. Now it's basically a straight pull rifle, synthetic stock. The calibre was .308. Very, very accurate out of the box, and this was really the first test in anger, if you like. Surprised there's nothing in there. It's a good valley. This time in the morning, normally expect deer to be out in there. These black flies bug them just the same. It tends to push them under the trees. Right, well, we'll just head back down to the road, just get down to that corner, just look in this valley, and then we'll... These flies be pushing them in? Yeah, push them in, yeah, they'll not stand, because it's just look at them. Whacking bloody things. Something in there. Dog. Might be a buck with it. That's inside the deer fence. She'll have a kid somewhere in there. It's one very lucky deer. Pissed her off. Right, what we'll do, we'll nip up it, because I've got the wind. If it probably we'll nip up the side of this thing, it'll drop us down into that big basin. We'll have a look in there, and if nothing, then we'll just come back down to the car, because we're into the wind then. I'll probably go up here reasonably quickly to get down. First session out, it was very calm, very still, and there was a front blow, and you could actually see it coming in from the sea. So we did stalk, and I tried to sort of get into something. Saw a few deer. Horrendous. The black flies were horrendous, just making it incredibly uncomfortable. So we really didn't get much success at all in the lower areas. So we went up onto the high ground to try and get into some wind and a bit of cooler conditions, which, to be fair, is probably where the deer would head for. And see if we could find any sort of reds up there. There's no stag with him anyway. That's exactly where you'd be laid down, isn't it? Come down into Argyle on early stag. Well, that was the plan. All we've seen is hinds, but we had to come out early. I mean, it's a bit early really for stoking at this time of year. The deer will probably not move until quite a bit later, but there's a real bad front coming and it's just starting to come now. It's going to be torrential, so we thought we'd have an hour or two early doors, just have a bit of a recce. We're going to try again in the morning, very early, but again, I think we're going to be snookered with the weather, but it is what it is. But I think we've probably seen about 40 odd hinds, 50 hinds, a nice little roebuck down there, which was nice, a kid from this year. But the stags at this time of year push up onto the high ground, and we've got good feeding down here, so it's the hinds that are holding it with the calves. But you never know, you can try and get a yearling or a knobber from the edge of the group. So tomorrow's another day. It's a pity because we've got the Beretta BRX and I want a BRX1 even. I want to try that on reds. I mean, we shot a roebuck with it a few days ago, so I'd like to christen it on a red stag, but I've got to find one first, and that's what I'm struggling at the minute. Anyway, we're going to head for home before this lot torrential hits us. Okay, so we've got there's a group of deer feeding down below us on the silage field, and they're sort of drifting back up in front of us into the wood in cover. It's quite windy. It's just been a real nasty squall actually, but I just shot a younger stag here down about 180 yards away down below us, in a lot of thick cover actually, and there's a big lad down there, quite unconcerned, just going about his morning munching. That's a lovely stag actually. Big lad. So we've got a pretty awkward clamber now down a sheer face to try and recover this. Okay, it's cracking morning. Typical Argyle. It's been horrendous. It's brightened up now. We got torrential rain this morning with a lot of hinds coming in, but that's kind of traditional for this area because there's a lot of good feeding here, so the hinds tend to hold the feeding. But one of the farmers mentioned there'd been quite a few stags doing some damage down on some silage fields across the road. That's actually not ours, but this ground is, and they're working back, coming back into the woodland. So having had no success sort of across on the forest area, we came along to try and intercept them coming in, and sure enough they started sort of funneling up. I just managed to catch them as they were coming up through the wall, and a really awkward tricky shooting position from kind of on my tiptoes nearly from right up there, kind of looking downhill through some bracken, but we just got a nice gap, and I'd only got the neck. So what I wanted to do was test the BRX1 on a Beretta BRX1 on a red deer, and I mean 308 calibre. It's not the calibre I use a lot actually, but I mean it's ideal for woodland reds. This perfect. Neck shot from downhill, so deer instantly dead, gone straight through the spinal column. Nice young stag. You see there's some really good stags, so this is one I wanted to take out of the group anyway. But the rifle performed beautifully actually. This is the conditions that a professional stoker has to contend with. We can't pick and choose our weather, so it's absolutely, it's lovely. It's fine now, but flipping heck, I mean, we're drenched, horrendous. Couldn't even see at one point, and I think that's why the deer started moving in early. But fortunately, it just cleared enough for us. But when you're in these sort of conditions, you want a robust rifle, which is why I'm a great fan of cut synthetic stock. But this really handles well. There's a nice lot of weight to this rifle. It's in about £7, just over £7, and so when you're shooting off sticks from not a bench rest position, clearly you want that for stability. So that's a roebuck and a red stag now shot with the rifle, which has impressed me enormously. Fortunately, we can get a bike into here because we've got a nice quad access track. So I'm going to do a gralloch on this, and then we'll recover it. Nice stag, good condition, lovely summer coat. I mean, they're in super nick here. They've got loads of food. I mean, they've got access to the grass fields. They've got access to the woodland, thanks to the foresters' consternation to keep on top of them. So I think a wet morning, but I would probably describe it as a successful morning. Now comes the hard work.